How's it going, Dave?
It's going great. Yeah. Thanks, Matt.
Wanted to just get the sense of the story of Shepherd Church, and would love to hear from you, and obviously your wife, Dawn, as well, who's not here, but she's been a part of this journey with you guys from the beginning. What kind of are the origins of Shepherd Church, and why here, and why now?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it probably goes back to, our journey through a tough valley season where we ended up, moving back to Indiana at the end of 2019, right into 2020, which is a great time to transition.
Yeah, fantastic.
And so we were coming out of a tough and painful, kind of hurtful ministry season, and came back to Indiana, and I was going to work with Lead 222, which is based off of 2 Timothy 2:2. So it's a youth ministry coaching and mentoring organization. And so I have a background of youth ministry, love, youth pastors. And so that job insisted of coaching and mentoring youth pastors. And then something that I started was a staffing division where I helped churches hire youth pastors. And so, during that season, I had just an incredible boss, Bo Shears, who's like the oldest youth pastor in the nation. He's like...
And one of the fittest.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he did not skip Arms Day. And so it was so good for me coming off of what I came out of and going into a season where I got to coach in how to lead healthy lives, healthy ministries, and healthy families. And that really was such a great season to come from what I did into this. And then realizing, there's probably some areas that I need to heal from, and doing the intentional work to go through that and journey through that. And Dawn did as well, and we did as a couple and as a family. And so just on that path, so I ended up serving with Lead for 5 years, but a year before, this was probably a year ago, 3 months ago right now, where Bo had asked me to take over Lead and really think through and pray through that. And so we just went on that journey of like, okay, is Lead my future? Is this something that I see myself doing? And I love Lead. I love the mission of Lead and what it's all about. And it just came down to really seeking the Lord and praying through, is this the next step? And I remember we took a college visit for Avery to Milligan University, and it's in Tennessee. And I hadn't been on that campus since I had just graduated high school. And this was almost 30 years ago. And so here I am back on this campus, and what was so amazing, Matt, about this campus is I went on a Christ in Youth conference. So all growing up, I wanted to be a meteorologist.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
This is news to me.
Yeah.
No pun intended.
So I have all the weather apps. I still love, the weather stuff, but the Lord knew math was not my,
Same
forte. So
Same.
It's like not a specialty of mine. And so I'm at this CIY, and I'm in the chapel. I'm on the balcony. Like I remember even grabbing the handrails there, and this, the guy was giving a message, and he gave an invitation to accept Christ. And all of these students, my age at that time, going forward to receive Christ. And it was so new and so exciting. And then I just remember the Holy Spirit just saying, this is what I want you to be about. And I just felt like this strong calling, like God was calling me into ministry, and specifically into youth ministry. And so I had talked to my youth pastor after this, and we prayed, and it just felt, like, wow, I have direction, in my life. And so I remember going home, not telling my parents. And I went down to my bedroom in the basement, and there was a brand new Bible my mom bought me, not knowing any of this.
She had no idea.
No idea. And to me, I grabbed that, and it just felt like confirmation from God. Like, here's your manual. I'm getting ready to send you out.
Wow.
And then I was like, now what? Because I was already enrolled at a college. And so I went back to my pastors at the church. I'm like, what do I do now? And they're like, well, we went to Ozark Christian College. I'm like, where's that? They're like, Joplin, Missouri. So I applied in June, was accepted in July, and then was there in August.
Wow.
And so started that journey.
Yeah.
And so here I am, 30 years later. I'm in this chapel, and I'm telling Dawn and the girls about kind of this story. Dawn actually took a photo of me in the chapel. And then as I'm getting ready to leave, I go to reach the door, and I just feel like the Holy Spirit say, it's time. So Dawn and I pray through that, and then that night in the hotel.
Did you know what that meant when you heard that?
Yeah, I knew what it meant.
Yeah.
Because we've been praying for direction for a couple months. Like, is lead it, and is it planting a church or going on staff at a church?
Yeah.
So we've been praying through like those, different directions. And then that night, Dawn and I praying through it, I just felt like the Lord say, I'll show you the way. And so, for Dawn too, like this has been a journey. And to then go through this process of really seeking the Lord, praying through it, and then getting, the direction from the Lord, but also knowing like I was back to the place where it started.
Yeah.
Where, like 5 years ago, here I am, I resigned from this church feeling like, do I have gifts? Is this what's next? What am I going to do? And here God is saying, no, like I'm calling you from where I first called you. I want you to go and plant a church. And so that was just amazing, and felt like we had direction to then start moving, and then to take then healthy next steps. We don't want to do this alone. I wanted to lead really well, and just try to take all those next healthy steps.
Yeah. Well, there's truth to the unpredictability of the Holy Spirit, but also the unity of the Holy Spirit, that we don't know when He's going to do what He's going to do, but just even hearing your heart and how you wanted to transition, and just your patience to what felt like this multiple decades journey, to also have this sense of urgency of waiting and waiting, wandering and wandering, to go, the time is now. Even that statement is packed with years of wondering and not knowing. And so I think it's worth noting that God is way more of a slow cooker in how He leads us sometimes. Yeah. And then in the moment, there's this decision, but behind it is, so I just think even for me, that's helpful to hear the kind of weight to what you were feeling in that moment. And more than just, obviously we're talking about Shepherd Church as a whole and the origins of that, but like how He wanted to speak to you directly in your calling. And I think that's what gets lost sometimes in these stories, is like, before it's for anybody else, it's just for you. Yeah. It's just for me. Yeah. And we serve a relational God. Yeah. And, He cares about our individual stories that then make up our collective stories. So that's really beautiful.
And just the, the phrasing too, that wording, now, obviously in this journey as we launch those words of I'll show you the way, where, that was just so impactful in this journey of getting going, because you feel like you have to have it all together, you have to have all the answers, and that's not true. It's like it's just like taking one step at a time, and then as you trust Him and taking those steps, He really will show you. He really, will provide, and the people that have been a part of this journey and putting those people in place, and just all of the different intricacies of how He works, of just that wording, I'll show you the way, where it's like trusting Him, like He's going to do this, but yet also like I just have to take the small steps too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I always go back to a phrase that a pastor friend of mine, this always stuck with me, when he said, like, God does the heavy lifting. And it's easy to feel so overwhelmed with the sense of, like, our calling and our purpose, to forget that, like, ultimately God is the author. Yeah. And we're just the pen in His hand, we're just the vessel. But I think to your point, it takes the pressure off, and while God might show us the way, that doesn't always mean like all the blanks are filled in. Which is why those baby steps, I think, are so helpful, to just go, man, what does it look like to follow? I'm not even in the passenger seat. It's like the Lord is driving the car, and we're just along for the ride. And I think that how things are started is so important, and so I'm just personally really encouraged to hear just how intentional God has been with all of those details in this story.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it is. It really is amazing to, like you said, he really is in the details. And what's so cool is being able to specifically pray for those things, and then to see not only him answer prayers, but one of the things we talked about was being an unexplainable church. And like, I can't explain this. It's only because of what God is doing and him showing up. And then it does. It's like, I am trusting him in this, and I can't explain it on as far as like, from the human perspective, or even just like, here's what I can do. It's like, actually it can be even greater because he's the one at work.
Not by might, not by power, but by my Spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah.